Hello, good evening. Welcome to yet another session of Ask Me Anything. Okay, so these sessions happen every Tuesday at 9 p.m. IST on my YouTube channel. And normally, what happens is I talk about a topic for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then it's open for questions. You can ask me any question, and if possible, I'll try to answer those. Okay. So today we have come up with, in continuation with what we have been doing all these weeks, we are again into one other Panchakarma therapy, that is Virechanam today. And we'll be talking about Virechanam a little bit, and then it's open for questions. So here we go, okay. So Panchakarma, it is Virechanam today. So Panchakarma is again into three. You do the preparation, the Purvakarma, then the Panchakarma, and then the Paschatkarma. That means post-Panchakarma care. So how do we go about it? So Chikitsa or treatment is basically Shamana or Shodhana. Shamana is pacifying, while Shodhana is purification, and that's where the Panchakarma comes. Okay. So now, okay, Purvakarma is Sneha Sweda, which we went through long back. Okay, and Pradhana Karma is the Panchakarma, which we're going to talk right now. And Paschatkarma is the post-care after the Panchakarma. Now, today it's going to be about Virechanam or purgation, which you'll see that translation. And what is Virechanam? So administration of medicine orally to induce soft bowels. It can be soft or it can be watery. It depends upon the condition. Okay. So Rechanam means the flow is basically called Rechanam. That means you induce flow. Now see, it is basically good for all the doshas, and it's easy to do. Even if you have got an outpatient thing, you can do Virechanam. So it's good for all the three doshas, but specifically more effective for pitta dosha. For kapha, it is vamana. For pitta, it is Virechana. And for vata, it is vasti. So now let us try to see what this Virechana is all about. Okay, different kinds of Virechanas is very important. So here what we do is, after preparing the person, the Pura Karma, after giving ghee, and when the person gets proper Snehana, you apply heat, that is Vedana, and after that we do the Virechana. And Virechana can be done in different ways depending upon the amount of doshas you have got, depending upon the strength of the person. So it is basically divided, the type, okay, it's divided into Mrudu, Madhya and Tikshna. Mrudu is soft, mild, Madhya is moderate, while Tikshna is severe. So for Mrudu Virechana, mild Virechana, even milk or even grape juices, sometimes sugarcane juice and all those things these are all mild laxatives which can give you little bit of soft bowels. That's called Mrudu Virechana. Or there are also medicines which we give. Okay. So here, anything up to 10 Vegas, that means you pass motions 10 times. You take the medicine in the morning. Vega is the number of times you pass. So if you pass motions 10 times, less than 10 times, it is up to 10 times, it is called Mrudu Virechana. 10 to 20 is called Madhya, where we use Trivrit or Katuki. Okay. I'm just giving you examples. Where up to 20 Vegas, it's called Madhyama, and Tikshna or very strong Virechana is when it can go up to maybe 25, 30 Vegas, beyond 30, sometimes even beyond 30. Okay. This is something which is not very easy to do. I've never done a Tikshna Virechana in this thing, 30 times and all. It's not very easy for the patient to undergo that, and for the person who's doing it also. So Mrudu, Madhya and Tikshna is the way Virechana has been classified. Now, one another interesting thing is that, depending upon the doshas and what effect you want, the amount of doshas you want, again, Virechana has been classified into 4. Okay. Now, this is what we are going to see right now. What is that? It's called Anuloma. Okay. It is called Sramsana, Bhedana, and Rechana. Okay. So, Anuloma, you would have heard Anuloma, Pratiloma. Okay. So normally what happens is, when you eat food, okay, the food From your mouth, it goes all the way to your stomach, travels all through your intestines, and it comes out. It is because of the help of Samana Vayu. Samano Agni Samevastha Koshthe Charati Sarvata. It moves all around the coast because of Samana Vayu, and at the end of, because of Apana Vayu, it goes. So that is the normal, that is the Anuloma movement of Vata, we call that. Okay. So that, so inducing that movement, so it's a mild thing. Inducing that movement is Anuloma. Sramsana is basically, you know what, generating a flow. Sramsana. Okay. Bhedana is breaking it, and Rechana is making it watery. So in 4 ways we can induce Virechana. This is something which is very important, especially for practitioners when they do Virechana. Sometimes they don't go into depth. It's very important to understand you can do it in 4 ways. Now we'll see how they are. Okay. So Anuloma is, so these, after the food is properly digested, or the ama, you digest the ama and then it is pushed downwards. That's why I said the Anuloma movement. So, and a very good example for that is Haritaki. You give Haritaki, you will not feel tired because, whatever food you eat or the ama is properly digested, and then only it is expelled. Okay. Then Sramsana. Sramsana is it loosens the things, all the things which are adhered to the walls. Okay. So it loosens it and helps it flow. Okay. And then bring it down. Aragvadha. Okay. Aragvadha is, in Malayalam we call that Kanikonna. Okay, so this is basically used as a Sramsana Dravya. I'm just giving you one example. So one is Haritaki for Anulomana. It is very mild. Okay, and Sramsana is where the doshas which are stuck onto the walls, they are removed and they come down. The next one is Bhedana. Bhedana, it is breaking. Okay, hard stools or armor, whatever it is there, it breaks all those things and then brings it down. For example, it is Katuki. So that is Bhedana. And the 4th one is Rechana. So this what? Here, these mean the sense, these herbs, they cause watery evacuation. So it brings it everything, adhonayet, okay, brings it down and then it expels it with a lot of water. This is what we normally do as far as Panchakarma goes. Okay. So, the best example for that is Trivrit. So Virechana can be done, as you said, they can be done in 4 ways. It is Anulomana, Sramsana, Bhetana, and Rechana. Okay. So knowing what to do in which condition is what is very important. So the reason, as I said, in normal practice, why Virechana is important is because when you do Virechana, it is from the middle part. Sorry, it is from the middle part of the body. Above it is Kapha, below it is Vata. So when you do it from the middle part of the body, a little bit of Kapha is expelled, a lot of Pitta is expelled, a lot of Vayu is also expelled. So Virechana is something which we consider for practitioners. If you know how to do proper Virechana, okay, then you will be able to manage all the 3 doshas decently well. If there are too much of dosha specifically, then you have to do Vamana for Kapha. If there's too much of Vata, then you have to do Vasti. But otherwise, even with Virechana, you can manage a lot of issues. Okay. So this is basically about Virechana. Now you can start asking your questions. Wow, already a lot of questions. Gary, my wife is high Pitta. She's 67. She asked which is better for her sun salutation or moon salutation. Thanks. If you have got too much of Pitta, okay, I would say moon salutation is really good. But taking her age into consideration, she's 67. That means she's already entered into the Vata state. So overexposure to moon, which is basically cooling, might have an adverse effect on her Vata also. Okay, so it should be the right balance. But I would say if she feels too much of heat, then I think the moon salutations would be better for her. But see that her Vata does not get disturbed too much. Okay, Gary? Also, my wife's skin right now is very dry. That's what I said. She is into her Vata stage. Okay, because if you look at the properties of Vata and Pitta, Pitta is Pittam, Sasneha. It is Sneha, or it is oily. Pittam is oily. Okay, Vata, Tatra ruksho laghushita. Ruksha, it is dry. Vata is dry. So the skin that is becoming dry is because of her age. It could be also because of activities. It could be because the seasons are drying her out more. Dryness is basically because of vata. Okay. Food, if you exercise more, what happens is your vata can go up. So she should be exercising only mild to moderate, not even moderate, between mild and moderate. Food, ask her to have food on time, mix a little bit of ghee or oil into it, let it be slightly oily. Okay, and let she see that she doesn't miss her food timings, and she sleeps really well at the night so that the kapha goes up and the oiliness goes down. And applying oil on the body also will help her, Gary. Good evening, Ramesh Maharaj. Okay, namaste, namaste, Ramesh. Okay, I think I've seen a lot of questions from your side. Okay, one question. For purgation, can we take Mishraka Sneham daily as you prescribed earlier below Apurva Vaidya? Yes, Mishraka Sneha is something which, uh, when I don't know, we had this discussion long back, not about Mishraka Sneha, but uh, there are basically four types of snehas. Okay, when we discuss snehas, Thailam, Gradam, Vasa, Majja, oil, ghee, fat, and marrow. Okay, so these are the four different kinds of oils which we use in regular practice. Out of that, ghee is supposed to be the superior most. So gradam, ghee, oil, animal fat, and marrow. So when you use one of that as for treatment, we call that sneha application. When you can combine two and use, you can combine ghee and oil and apply also, then we call that yamaka. Okay, when you apply three out of that, you got it right. It could be ghee, oil, and animal fat or marrow. When you've got three oils mixed, we call that mishraka. When you've got all the four mixed, we call that mahasneha. So here, Mishraka Sneha is a combination where you have got ghee, oil, and also castor oil in it. That's the reason why they've got three different kinds of oils in it. That's why it's called Mishraka Sneha. And Mishraka Sneha helps you pass motions really well. But if you overtake it, you might pass multiple times or even in the middle of the night. So in this condition, if I remember, in this condition for Ramesh Maharaj, he had severe constipation with a lot of dryness. So prescribed Mishraka Sneha for him because it's the right thing, because it is Vata, it is dry. Haritaki, Haritaki, Churnam and other things don't help. Triphala and all those things don't help in the long run because they dry the system. So if your system is dry and you are not passing motions really well, Mishraka Sneha works really well and you can definitely take long-term Ramesh. No problem. Okay. What time do you eat dinner and what do you eat? Okay. I normally have my dinner at 7:30 p.m. Okay, because I finish my work and I go to bed only at 10, maybe 10:15. Okay, I didn't want to have my dinner that early at 6 o'clock. So that, by the time it's 10:30, I'm again hungry. My metabolism is again started working and I again feel hungry to eat something. No. So I normally have my dinner at about 7:30. Normally I have a small chapati with veggies. That's all. I keep it very, very simple. And sometimes when I go to bed, I have half a glass of cow's milk, have it, and then sleep. Brush my teeth and sleep. Okay, Tejeshwara. Let me see what's the next one. Cynthia. What is the best oil for broken kneecap recovery? Okay. Broken kneecap. So when there is something which is broken, it has to be fixed. So I would say if you are looking at, if it is something which happened recently, then an oil called Murivenna, okay, Murivenna works really well for that. Or if it has been there for quite some time, then Laksha Thailam actually works really well. Okay, so you can choose Laksha Thailam or Murivenna. Mixture of those two also can help. But the thing is that just applying oil will not help. So you have to apply oil. You have you have to bandage it. In the sense, it has to really soak in. Okay, but the broken kneecap, we'll have to see. How much it. If it's just broken and they're close to each other, then they can heal. But if there's a lot of gap between them, then it becomes a problem, Cynthia. Okay, it might not join back. but otherwise, yes, it will join you. But the thing is that you have to bind it. Does Ayurveda say anything similar to colonoscopy? No. There is nothing which is very common to colonoscopy. No endoscopy. We don't put anything inside to see what is happening. See, if you look at the major difference between the modern approach and the Ayurvedic approach, okay, let me be very frank over here. Ayurveda is more about the physiology. It's a physiology oriented medical science, in the sense we are more about the functions of the body, organs, or whatever it is, more about it. But if you look from a modern aspect of it, they also look into the functions, but they are more about the structural part of it. They have to see how the blood is, how the blood reports are, how the bones are, how so they are more into imaging, and they have to see what is so it is more about the structure. So in Ayurveda, if you look at it, if you don't have major issues with something happening somewhere, we say okay, it's fine. Even though, see, sometimes it so happens that you go through an MRI scan or an echo and you find a hole in the heart, and you are asked sometimes to close that hole because it might not be good. But if you look, if you were born with that hole and you have been living all these 30, 40, 50 years with that hole, we would say, you live your life the way you have been living. So Ayurveda does not go too much into imaging. What is superficially seen is fine, and what we infer from that is what we use for treatments. We don't do colonoscopy, and there is nothing apart from looking for piles inside and all. We don't go directly inside the intestines and see what is happening. Okay, we can go look into the throat. We don't go put a tube inside, endoscopy, put a camera. See, that is the development of physics. If you look, application of physics into medicine, it's an amazing thing. I don't say that is bad or good. The application of physics, even a stethoscope is basically an extension of your ear, right? So the application of physics, imaging like MRI, and even robotic surgery and all those things, the application of physics into medicine, it's actually taken medicine to the next level. Kamalnath, good evening. I don't understand what that meaning is. Okay. Should Vata and Pitta people not store water or drink water out of copper vessels? I heard copper is for kapha and silver or mud cup for Vata and Pittas. Kim, let us not go that far. One thing is that if you store water in a copper vessel, it is antimicrobial. It will kill all the microbes. So you just leaving water in a copper vessel for a couple of hours will not have any effect on too much on your Vata and Pitta. But if you look at the mud, mud is more for kapha increasing, because mud itself is kapha increasing, and it is porous. Okay, it keeps the water even more cool. Silver, yes, silver is good for Pitta. But if you are looking for the best vessel, okay, Ayurveda does not mention copper vessel directly. Ayurveda says the best vessel to store water, drink water, and eat food out of is a golden vessel. If you can afford that, Kim, nothing like it, go for a golden vessel, or anything made in I think silver is fine nowadays. What we do as children, what we have done is we eat in a silver plate, okay, and we paste or stick a golden flower in the center. Okay, we call that a Swarna Pushpa in the center, and you eat all kinds of food out of it. So when you mix food, ghee, or it could be even buttermilk, which is slightly acidic, everything in small, very minute quantities, okay, it enters your body, and your body is actually energized because of all those things. So that's a traditional way of eating. If you can afford a golden plate, it is fine. Otherwise, silver plate is enough. But you can also put a piece of gold in the center, okay, a thin foil. So gold is the best thing, or mud is very good. But nowadays people eat from stainless steel. Stainless steel is basically iron converted into steel, right? One good thing about stainless steel is that it doesn't react. It doesn't give you anything good, or it doesn't give you anything bad. It is something which is very neutral. So I think rather than thinking of so many other metals which can react. If you can go for steel itself, is, in my opinion, it's fine. How does Ayurveda see autoimmune conditions like alopecia, hair loss? Should we need to bring a Jyotisha into this as an interview as a famous Ayurveda? Yes, Karthik, getting Jyotisha is actually, I also apply Jyotisha. The other day, I had a patient, who had small issues. Okay, we were undergoing a lot of treatments, and we were not able. I was not able to get the desired results by the treatments which I was doing. So my question was, do you believe in astrology? He said, yeah, fine. I said, okay, show your uh, Jatakam or horoscope to a person who doesn't probably tell you to do too many things. Okay, so you go through that and you find it, and he gives you probably a few mantras for you to chant, or one lamp, or some small things, which will actually change a lot of things in you. Okay, so autoimmune condition, if you look at your question, autoimmune condition, the way I looks at is your sattva has gone down. In the sense, somewhere your immunity has been compromised. So sometimes what people, alopecia is one thing. Apart from that, if you look at rheumatoid arthritis or psoriasis or somewhere, you sometimes, people sometimes give immunosuppressants at treatments. Here the problem is that the immunity is compromised, and that's the reason why you get that issue. So continuing with immunosuppressants might not be a good thing in the long run, because immunity is not going to kick back. So we actually try to handle such cases and slowly try to taper down the medicines and see that the body takes over. The body has to take over. Okay, and you should also look into the reasons why you got it, and one major reason would definitely be stress. And if you don't work on that, you say, oh, that's something which I cannot avoid, then you might not get good results. So avoidance of the causative factor, nidana parivarjanam chikitsa. Okay, avoidance of the causative factor also has to be taken into consideration, Karthik. Okay. Is underweight with normal health affects body? Shetty. Okay, it's a good question. Okay. There is a very famous quoting from Ashtangatam. Karshyameva varam sthaulyat. Karshyam is being lean. Okay. Karshyameva varam, it is a boon when compared to sthaulyat, when compared to overweight. If you compare about a person who's thin and a person who's overweight, being thin is actually a blessing. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you should be undernourished, because if you look at a vata, see, we try to there's something called the so-called BMI. Let us start there. Okay, for this much of height you should have this much of weight and all those things. It doesn't apply to Ayurveda. Okay, it doesn't apply to anywhere, in the sense, you can't have everybody the same way. If you are predominantly vata, you'll be on the leaner side. If you are predominantly pitta, you'll be medium built. If you're predominantly kapha, you'll be plump, not overweight. Okay, you'll be plump. So in a kapha person is plump and healthy. Okay, a pitta person is athletic, medium built and healthy. A vata person is thin and healthy. So if a vata person tries to put on weight, he is actually moving away from his prakriti. Do you understand that? It might not be, you might look good, and it might not be that healthy for him to actually put on weight. A kapha person who's slightly plump, don't actually try to lose a lot of weight and try to become thin. You are deviating from your prakriti. So underweight is something, that's something which you have to decide. But if you're lean and you are vata prakriti, then you are healthy, Shetty. I think I've put it very clear. Yes, but my daughter gets hives on her face in winters. Home remedy for hives, I think there might be something which might be triggering this thing. It could need not be only the cold. And I just want to know where you are from. Okay, have you ever tried going to a place which doesn't become extremely cold during the winters, and see if she gets the same hives? If that is one thing, then the treatment actually differs. If not, if she goes to some other place and she still gets the hives, then the treatment is different. Okay, so it need not be that it could be that's only winter. It can be other things also. Home remedy for hives is not very easy. Probably medicine wise, I'm just giving you one name. Haridra Khandam works really well for most of the hives. Okay, First thing is that see what kinds of food she's eating, what time she's sleeping, or is she doing regular exercises. Okay, a couple of things. Haridra Khandam with honey works really well for most allergies and hives. Okay, just giving you one medicine, but I don't think that could work, because this is something which you have to try. Just see that she is in some other place in winter which is not very cold, and see if she get the hives. This is what you call the trial and error for us to understand how the body is reacting to winter. Okay. Does Ayurveda say anything about drinking high salt water to pass clear water in stools? No. Ayurveda does not mention about drinking salt water, either to vomit or to pass soft bowels. We know that if you take a lot of salt water, it's the body's automatic reaction, because it is poison for the body. Okay. So the body automatically purges us out. That's what happens. Ayurveda does not mention that. I've not seen that anywhere. I don't know whether it's mentioned in some other, but at least stronger than major texts don't mention about you drinking salt water to purge. Should having all three doshas at same level be the goal to be healthy? Phoenix, you can, very rare. Okay, samadosha. Very few people are samadosha. See, if you look at the purpose of our life, Phoenix. Okay, let me put it in a slightly in a philosophical or spiritual way. It is dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That means you work over here, you amass wealth, you enjoy all the wealth. At the end of the day, you renounce everything and you attain moksha. That is what our journey is all about. So, irrespective of whether you are a vata prakriti who's thin, you are predominantly vata, predominantly pitta, or predominantly kapha. Irrespective of whatever your prakriti is, your chance of attaining moksha is the same. Okay. So, but when you look at from the physical aspect, they say a kapha prakriti person can be physically more healthier than a predominantly vata person. In the sense, when you start your life, you start with kapha, then you go through pitta, then you reach vata prakriti. That's where when you go towards death, you get into the vata stage. So when you are predominantly kapha, okay, and when you reach this vata stage, this kapha actually balances out this naturally increased vata. Or you will be much healthier. So, but for a vata prakriti person, if he gets into the vata age, it might not be easy for him physically, but spiritually, it doesn't make any difference at all. Okay. So, if you look from a physical part of it, a predominantly kapha person will be much healthier physically, but spiritually, everybody's got an equal chance to attain moksha. Can you go to sunbathing after eating meal? See, after you have a meal, it is not very good for you to go and expose yourself to that kind of agni outside, because what we need is the agni inside. Hope that is very clear. I would say wait for some time, wait for at least an hour and a half till the whole food is digested and gone. Probably it has left your stomach. Then you can either go for a water bath or a sun bath, or even for too much of wind bath also. It is not very much, it's not good for you. So let us protect the agni. Too much of heat outside will not help the agni inside. Is there any remedy for lengthy periods in Ayurveda? Yes, Shetty, will have to see what kind of periods you have. It's only spotting or extreme bleeding. Yes, definitely. It is ahara, vihara, vichara, and then aushadha. Okay, your food, your lifestyle, your thought process, and then medicine. But Ayurveda can actually do wonders, especially in menstrual disorders. We can do wonders. Okay. How much quantity oil to apply on scalp? Tejeshwar, I would say, somewhere between 7.5 to 10 ml would be enough, because the size of the scalp for most people are the same. I don't want you to apply too much of hair on the oil. So heating the oil mildly, about 7.5 to 10 ml of oil would be more than enough for you to apply on your scalp. Okay, really well. And then you can use your comb, a wide tooth comb, to spread that oil all through your hair. So somewhere around 7.5 ml would be enough. If one's body type is dominant in one and season also seem to be linked to specific doshas, the foods too, how to incorporate these when deciding what food should be consumed. Finish. This is a very technical question. Okay, so that's the reason why for certain Prakriti people we say to avoid certain kinds of food. It's not that everybody can have everything. Okay, like for example, I can just give you, for example, summers. Summers, you notice that, the pitta is actually high. It is hot. It is a fiery season. Okay, so very clearly, Ayurveda says don't consume what? Pattu amlas katus tyajet. Patu means salt. Katu means spicy. Amla is sour. Avoid these three tastes predominantly. Okay, too much, because if you look at 6 tastes, okay, Madhura, Amla, Lavana, Katu, Tikta, Kashaya, all the 6 tastes have got two Mahabhutas. Okay, this is slightly theoretical, but you have got three tastes, that is salt, spicy, and sour. Yeah, salt, spicy, and sour, which has got Agni in it. So when these three have got Agni in it, you should avoid that in summer. Hope you able to understand that. Okay, so you're not supposed to do too much of exercise during the summer. Vyayamas teje, vyayamas arkas teje. That means don't get exposed to the sun or do exercise during the summer. So each and every season, and this for a pitta person, it's even you have to be slightly more strict. For a kapha person, he will be able to manage. So we can't have fixed rule for everybody, but there are general rules. So if you know the general rules, then specifically for you, you can actually work around it and then apply it every season. Okay, so it is basically for you to understand what your prakriti is and what is happening around it, and then stay aligned. Okay, Phoenix, can you repeat which herb is good for Sramsana? Sramsana is Aragvadha. Okay, so let us I'll show you. Let me see there. Can you see that? Can you see that from these loosens the other accumulated doshas and bring them down? Example, Aragvadha. Okay, so Aragvadha is cassia fistula. Normally, what you do is you take the fruit. When you open up the fruit, you'll see pulp inside it. That pulp is very tasty and it will lead to soft bowels. It will lead to loose motions. Okay, Aragvadha is very good. Okay, for Sramsana. Okay, it has got yes, it has got a scraping action. Namaskara. What effects can long-term daily use of nervous stimulants like caffeine have on one's pranamaya kosha? Okay, stimulants are actually not very good. For example, you how do I put it? So if you drink coffee, you're just asking specifically. Let me try to explain a little bit about coffee. So suppose you are feeling tired, you drink a little bit of coffee, you feel fresh. So where did that tiredness go? Have you ever asked yourself? In the sense, what happened with coffee, as you said, it's a stimulant. See, when you're tired, that doesn't mean that you're just like a mobile phone. It doesn't mean that your battery is zero. Your battery is somewhere on 20. Okay, and say battery low, you are tired, take some rest, and then try to charge your battery. It need not be sleeping, even just taking rest, and for some time, you'll see the battery start going up. But when you reach 20 and you drink that coffee, it's a stimulant. So what happens is, because it's a stimulant, it actually takes the energy from the remaining 20. So energy which is supposed to be used later is already used up. It's like using a credit card. Okay, coffee. So when you keep on doing that over a period of time, you'll notice that your metabolism has to work too much. Your pitta starts going up, and you start becoming more and more anxious. People who take more coffee, they'll have issues with the heart, tuck, 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 palpitations, and all those things are. So any stimulant, if you look in that form, actually takes energy from your reserve form. It does not give you energy. Okay, it only takes from the reserve thing. So long term, not good for any kosha. Okay, neither for a pranamaya kosha or nor for a vijnanamaya kosha or any kosha. Okay. I get chapped lips during Feb. Should I apply coconut oil? Tejashwari Murthy, you can apply coconut oil, but I would say the better thing for you would be to apply ghee, because ghee is slightly more, what do you call, it got slimy. It's more thick, sandra we call that. One other thing you can use is shata dhauta ghrita is available in the market. 100 times washed ghee is available in the market in the form of a cream. You can apply that. It is ghee based. It will stay. It will help you repair your chapped lips. Okay. Shata dhauta ghrita. 100 times washed ghee. What does Ayurveda say about castor oil? It's considered anti-inflammatory but doesn't seem to be used much in Ayurveda treatments. Phoenix, yes. Who said? Uh, Castor oil is used left, right, center in Ayurveda. Okay, not only castor oil, even castor, leaves, castor roots. Castor is used left, right, center in Ayurveda, especially from people who from Kerala side where we use too much of herbal medicines. Castor is used like anything. So it is very good for, especially for conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, like amavata or something. It is very good. Okay, it is being used, and you have got different preparations also. You have got Gandharva Hastadi castor oil, you have got Dimba Amradati castor oil. Lot of castor oils come. So yeah, castor oil is being used. Can you please talk about therapeutic use of Guduchi Churna versus Guduchi Sattva? See, Guduchi Churna, that means you are drying the herb and using it. Okay. And Guduchi Sattva. Guduchi Sattva is basically using the fresh herb. You are rubbing it into, or pounding it. You are rubbing it hard and you're getting all the juice out of it into water. You evaporate the water, and what you get is Guduchi Sattva. Now, if you look at what the text says, okay, Guduchi Kudajo Vasa Kushmanda. Let me not go into the shlokas. Okay, so these things, Guduchi Kudaja Vasa Kushmanda, all those things have to be used fresh. Sadevardra, always fresh. So Guduchi is something which has to be used fresh. So Guduchi Sattva, it is a fresh Guduchi which is crushed and mixed into water, and its Sattva is its what do you mean by sattva? It's nourishment. Okay, that's the part. That's been taken. That is actually good. Guduchi churna. You are drying Guduchi and then powdering it. Reference wise, Guduchi is supposed to be used fresh. Now you have to think for yourself. Okay, I just gave you that point. Guduchi is something which has to be used fresh. The Guduchi churna is always dried and used. Okay. So, but there is another clause also. If you don't get, that's a different Divyaguna topic. Okay, suppose there are other things. For example, if Bala is supposed to be used dry, but if you get fresh, then Acharya says use double the quantity. Okay, but Guduchi is always supposed to be used fresh, and if you get fresh, you don't have to use double, you have to use the same quantity. So in my opinion, Sattva would be a better option. Or if you get fresh, if you make kashaya out of it and consume, that also is good. You crush it, take juice out of it, that's also good. Okay. How Ayurveda gives properties of all foods? Did they do randomized controlled trials on people for a long time? Tejashree, that's actually a very, very, very good question. What happens here is, let me put it in a very simple way. Randomized tests, yes. Ayurveda did not evolve, just somebody sat and then decided, boom, this is how it works. No, definitely they would have tried, they would have seen how nature works, they would have seen how the plants work, they would have seen how the animals are, they would have tried to see how the body is. They would have definitely started with looking at nature, how animals behave. And we were also close to animals, and we also knew the instinct. Who teaches a cat to eat grass when it has got indigestion? It's not gone to any school. It is that instinct. They eat grass and they vomit and they're fine. Okay. So I would say might be 10,000 years or 20,000 years back, humans were also like that. They knew what to go for. Okay. And then Ayurveda did not start to, the textbook came about 3,000, 4,000 years back. But this people fell sick. There were treatments happening. And, after a point of time, these thinkers, they try to understand a pattern about everything. That's where the Pancha Mahabhuta theory came. Okay, that everything around you is made of the five elements. You are made of the five elements. Plants are made of the five elements. So when you have and you have got your own five elements, and the balance goes down, you have to substitute it with something which will put that balance back. So these things did not happen overnight. Thousands and thousands of years. So there would have been some issues. This thing might be good for that disease, and they would have given that person. That person would have died. There would have been so many deaths also that would have happened. We don't know. Okay, so what happened? They would have done a lot of time, but the thing is that it was done on live people out there, not in a closed lab. Okay, so it is you being close to nature and applying everything what you know from nature into nature. So I would say definitely they would have done their own test, and they would have tried to understand how that behaves. They were keen observers. They didn't have the use of taking a tissue and seeing what happened to the tissue. That is basically going micro. Here everything we always go macro. What was the effect on the body? What was the effect on the mind? So that's how they have got the gunas into it. Hope I'm able to understand, explain to this. If you get time, we can have a lot of talk about this. Okay, it's actually a fantastic question, Tejeshwara. Yes, thanks a lot, Ramesh. Okay, see you soon. I'm planning to come to Madurai. We will definitely catch up. Okay. Mahanarana Thailam, is it for muscle pains? Mahanarana Thailam has got hundreds of uses, but one place where Mahanarana Thailam is not being used, if you look at the yoga, we have all these discussions. Most people write it for external application, but if you look at the yoga, it is very clearly understandable that it is something which can be taken internally also. Okay, there is not even a single thing which cannot be consumed internally as far as Mahanarana Thailam goes. But the thing is that the paka in which we take it, we don't take it at. I had mentioned about paka, the right time where you have to take it out. You've got murdu paka, the first stage of cooking, the second stage is called madhya paka, and the last stage is called kharapaka. Kharapaka is used for external application. The first stage, murdu, soft stage, is used for nasya, and the middle stage is used for internal. I would say we always have the discussion that Mahanarana Thailam should be taken in the middle so that it can be given internally for better results. It works in so many conditions. It can be muscular, it can be joint, it can also be for colic. Lot of places it can work. Okay, no wonder it's been given the name Mahanarayana. Okay, let us not restrict only to joint pains or muscle pain. Is it okay to take ginger powder, cinnamon, and pipli mool tea every day for kapha person year round? No. But I would say if you look at pipli is not something which has been mentioned so that you can take it regularly as food. First thing, okay. It's too thick now. Pepper is fine, dry ginger is fine, but not pipli. So it is not something which can be consumed on a regular basis, because as I said, just for summer, avoid everything that is spicy. So summers you should avoid those. So there are let us not some just because somebody says. I've seen a lot of people in the US, they take cumin, fennel, coriander water every day. Everybody can take it. I don't 100% agree to that. It depends upon the season, depends upon the person. I would say, let us not generalize, just like how modern medicine looks at it, that everybody can take something. And here the specific question is kapha person. I do understand that, but I would still say, be in sync with your own body and try to see what works well. Probably summers it might not work well, okay, and it can generate a lot of heat. So I don't recommend it. That's what basically I would want to tell you. Just keeping water and food in sunlight, then you mean cooked food or uncooked food? I'm not very sure about it, but I would say you cook food, you boil water, it is equal to it is equal to having agni inside it. It's already cooked. Okay, So let us not think that only sun is disinfectant. Okay, even Agni, the representation of sun in the kitchen is the Agni. Okay, so that's the reason why Ayurveda believes a lot about cooking food and eating, because cooking happens here also. So once cooked is easily cookable. So you just putting it out in the sun might not be enough to cook your food. Okay, so you cook your food and then have it warm. Okay, Tejaswi Murthy, I don't know whether I've answered your question. Is Chandanasam good for 13-year-old kid for excessive heat in the body? What else can be offered as solution for her? Yes, Poonam, Chandanasam is actually a good thing to reduce the heat from the body. It's absolutely no issues at all. Okay, probably, if you want, you can add probably Chandraprabha into it. And if the heat is too much, we also do vetiver. Vetiver boiled water is also good, or dhania boiled water also is good. It again depends upon where the heat is. Okay. Other things also can be done. Look at what she takes. If she's somebody who consumes a lot of spicy food, cut. If she's somebody who takes curd, cut. If she's somebody who takes a lot of fermented food, cut. Okay. Applying oil over the body is good. Oil on the head is also good. Chandranadi Tailam, Himasagar, a lot of oils are also there. How to cool the system down. If she's somebody who sleeps late, that also has to be taken care of. Lord, anything that can increase the heat has to be cut. Okay, since 13, so she might not be smoking or drinking. Otherwise, those also have to be cut. Okay. Yes, brass vessel is also good for drinking water. We do drink water. We cook also in brass vessels, right? So it's absolutely no issues. Okay, but I don't think why you should be storing water in a brass vessel. It doesn't react too much. It's fine, but otherwise, you can use a normal earthen pot to store water. That works 365 days. Okay, earthen pot. Does Ayurveda say anything about heavy metal poisoning? Yes, 100% Ayurveda says about heavy metal poisoning. It's a huge topic nowadays. People say about heavy metal poisoning in Ayurveda, heavy metal poisoning in Ayurveda. See, heavy metal poisoning in Ayurveda can happen only, listen to this very carefully. Heavy metal poisoning in Ayurveda can happen only if the medicine that has been prepared has not been prepared well. Underlined, okay. People use a lot of heavy metals in preparing medicines, rasaushadhis in Ayurveda, and there is a way in which those heavy metals have to be purified. If that has not been done well, it's a problem. After that, there is a way in which you make that medicine, okay, because that's putta. If that is not made properly, then you will have residual heavy metal which can cause poisoning. But otherwise, if the shuddhi of the metal has been done really well, and the process in which they have made the medicine has been done really well, there is no fear of heavy metal poisoning. I'm putting this very clear for you to listen. You don't have to be worried. Okay, if that's what you expect from my side, Ayurveda doesn't. But there are conditions where you might get exposed to heavy metal poisoning. Ayurveda mentions about Agata Tantra also, where poisoning is there. But improper preparation of medicine and having heavy metal should not be a reason why you should say Ayurveda generally induces heavy metal poisoning. It's a problem with the manufacturer that has to be taken care of. Yeah, but I understand that. I think the winters are extremely harsh over there. Depending upon again where you're in the US, probably if in Florida or in some other place, it might not be that harsh. But this is something I would say, if you can just see, if you can shift your daughter, 27-year-old daughter, if I'm right, you said, right? She is in the peak of pitta age right now. Okay. Peak pitta. So her heat is very high. Hives can come up because of that. And just try this thing one winter if she's in somewhere else, or if she's in India during a winter, and not up north, if down south, but you might be somewhere from Mangalore or somewhere, or Bangalore. If she's down south, even south of a southern part, and she's not exposed to extreme cold, see how she's. Then we can take a call. Okay. Yes, thank you. For hives, mixing Haridra Khanda with honey to make a paste. Yes, and consume it, not application, Kim. Okay, Haridra Khanda is for internal thing. Is there any regulation for Ayurvedic medicines? Which brand to trust in Ayurvedic medicines? There are a lot of companies who manufacture really well. Okay, small companies. There are very good manufacturers with GMP, good manufacturing practice. Look out for that GMP. And Herbo Mineral. There are a lot of companies. Baidyanath is good. You have got Dhut Papeshwar. A lot of companies actually come up with very good medicines. They're very safe, but that doesn't mean that Ayurvedic medicine don't have side effects. You have to take the right medicine, the right dose, which has been prescribed by a doctor. Just don't go berserk and take Ayurvedic medicines just thinking that, oh, they don't have side effects. They do have side effects if not taken for the right condition, in the right dose. So everything, just consuming ashwagandha, ashwagandha gummies are good, ashwagandha is good, let me take ashwagandha, let me take shilajit. They are all potent medicines. Okay, I would not prescribe or ask you to take something like that. If you need it, take it. Otherwise, you should be able to manage with your food and lifestyle. How often would you recommend to apply? I would say Abhyangam Ajaret Nityam, which I do, apply oil every day, Kim. Every day apply oil, wait for 45 minutes and take a shower. At least thrice a week would be good if you are expecting some results. Otherwise, you have to give lubrication to the roots, right? So at least thrice a week would be minimum. I do it every day. So depending upon where you live, Kerala, it's fine. Water is good. Apply oil. Get up in the morning. Apply oil. Wait for some time. Take a shower. Enjoy life. Kim. Yes, thank you. So we are coming to the end. Doc, when are you coming back to US? Hello world. You invite me, I'll be there. Let us arrange something. I am normally planning to come to. I'll be in New York, Phoenix, Arizona, and in Seattle. So if there is some other activity which is really worthwhile, then we can definitely think about it. 100%. How do chilled foods like ice cream, empty stomach, or after a meal can impact through doshas? People usually eat ice creams as a sweet dish. Major issues with ice cream is that one thing, it is cold and it's also consumed after food. It is cold, it is sweet, it is gooey, consumed after food. In my opinion, it's not supposed to be done that way. Ice cream itself doesn't sit well in my head. Don't I take ice cream once in a while? Yes, I do, but I understand that it is not good for my health or my digestion, so I stay away from it. Rarely it happens. Might be once in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. A small cup of ice cream is good. It's okay, but don't make that a habit. I would say if you want to eat ice cream, even taking something cold before food is bad. Taking cold and thick, creamy, milky thing after food is also bad. So where do we ask people to eat ice cream? When I would say preferably if you are having a very small lunch, have it during the afternoon. Okay, have it and then don't take a nap. Stay active. Yeah, your body knows how to manage it. But if you start doing that consistently, then it's a problem. Okay. Are metallic and mineral-based medicines more powerful? In Kerala, we don't rely it on mainly. Only once I use it with Shwasananda Guru. So why not part of India gets more on metallic preparations? I think that's a good question, Karthik. See, as I said, everything in this world is made of Panchamahabhutas. You, me, everything. And when that balance and that Panchamahabhutas have become Vata Pitta Kapha, and if there is an imbalance in your Vata Pitta Kapha, that has to be managed by something which counterbalances that. So that has to be taken from nature. When you look at Kerala, you have got greenery everywhere, vegetation, plants available in plenty. You can substitute using a plant. You go up Gujarat, you will not find plants there. Then what do you use? You use what is available. Okay, so it doesn't make Ayurveda right or wrong. So whatever is available, that is where I'm telling you the acharyas have been so good at it that they found that metal also can be used. See, anything can be used. As you say in Ashtanga Hridaya says, Jagatyeva anaushadham na kinchit vidyate. Jagatyeva, in this world, anaushadham na kinchit, not a medicine. Okay, anaushadham, that which is not a medicine, na kinchit is not there. That means there is nothing in this world that cannot be used as a medicine. The only problem is that we don't know how to use it. So in Kerala, since we have got a lot of trees, a lot of vegetation, this, we use that. Okay, in up north, when you go to certain places, you don't have that. What is available over there, they use. Everything is Ayurveda. It's not that this is superior or that is superior. Everything is fine. As long as you understand the principles and what you're doing, everything is fine. Okay, Karthik? For Abhyanga, can one Taila applied for body and another Taila? Oh yeah, definitely yes. And you can use different Tailas for different parts of the body also, depending upon what your condition is. Generally people use Dhanvantaram Thailam for the whole body, and if they got some shoulder issues, they might use Karpa Sesai Thailam only for the shoulder. It depends upon what you want to use, but by and large, the base of the oil mostly, okay, we use sesame oil for the body. And in Kerala, so we are so used to using coconut oil, and researchers have found out that coconut oil is actually good for the hair. So we use coconut oil based oil for the hair. So depending upon conditions, you can use different oils in different parts of the body also. Kamalnath. Okay. So let us slowly stop this session. Who should take ashwagandha supplements? Somebody, see, I just spoke about it. Why should somebody take ashwagandha supplements is a thing, and ashwagandha is not a supplement. Just like you think, vitamin supplement, people have made that supplement, if I have to sell Chyavanprash in the US, I say, it is a vitamin C supplement health, but it is not that, I have to market it as a supplement in countries where it cannot be sold as medicine. That's why ashwagandha became a supplement. Ashwagandha is an extremely potent medicine, okay, which also has to undergo shuddhi. You have to boil it in milk before you actually use it. Otherwise, it's not very easy. I don't know what process people use nowadays. So ashwagandha, I would recommend not to take ashwagandha as supplement, until and unless you go through a proper consultation, understand what your condition is, okay, and then go and take their medicine. Just like taking Shatavari supplement or ashwagandha supplement or Shilajit, they are not supplements, they are good, potent herbs and minerals. I don't know. This is a very, very, very subjective question. If you abstain from sex for the 5 years, what benefits do the body have? I don't see. Mind might have a lot of things, because if you are thinking about sex, but physically you have decided not to have sex, then it will not have any benefit, because you cannot abstain from ejaculation. Okay, if you are in a young age, probably might be for 6 weeks or more. Automatically, you have got, it's like a vessel, it gets filled with your semen, and then you'll have an automatic ejaculation. The body throws it out. So abstaining from sex for 5 years doesn't mean that you'll not ejaculate at all. Okay, but if you have decided your mind is shut and you don't want to even think on those lines, then you'll definitely have a spiritual growth. But physically, yes, a little bit here and there, but otherwise, not major changes. If you follow Dinacharya, Ritucharya, and have sex the way they have mentioned in Ayurveda, people can definitely be healthy physically, mentally, and spiritually. Okay, let us not go to extremes. As I said, Sarva Dharmeshu Madhyam. Let us hit the middle path everywhere. Continue for 7 days and feeling really good, refreshed and light. That's good. Abhyanga Mahajaret Nityam. Do Abhyanga every day and feel great and top of the world. Okay. So thanks a lot. See you next week. Another topic. Till then, good night. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Okay. Bye.